Hi there, it's Kevin from the Figure Owners Club. First video of 2024, and I was looking at how many we've made in the last 15 years, and it's just over 150 videos now. So I hope you're not getting too bored of me, and hope I'm giving you information and you're learning stuff about these fantastic cars. So today's video is all about something that happens to a lot of the cars, and that's cracked switches. So what we're talking about here is inside the door here. Obviously we've got the controller for the windows, that's the lock controller, and that's the passenger window and the driver window. And what's happened here, you can see that we've got a crack which has appeared across this corner. I don't know whether hopefully the camera's picking that up. So what we're going to try and do we're going to try and repair this so you can't see the crack anymore, because although you can still buy a lot of this stuff, everyone knows that, you know, it's supply and demand, and they ask ridiculous prices for a lot of the Figaro stuff, especially on eBay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and take you through how you can repair it yourself. We're using some sort of products that we've got no affiliation with the club at all. It's just stuff I've brought off of Amazon, and hopefully it's going to do the job. I am going to use a spray which I've brought from the Figaro shop, which is an internal internal ivory colour which they do, which is fantastic. I mean, it matches all of the car, so I'm going to have to finish that in that, because there's no other way. You're going to have to like end up really spraying it. So anyway, wish me luck and follow me through the journey. On to the next bit. Okay, so that's the unit out. As you can see, that's the connector there, and it just sits in this little area here, and basically we can pop that in once we finish. So I'm going to take this to the workshop next and take it apart. Okay, so I'm in the workshop now. So what I'm going to do is just take this apart. So I did notice, well, this is what you get with the Figaro. So it's only got 3 screws in it. It should have 4. So I'm just going to take this off and we'll get to the next bit. So this is the crack that we're going to try and fix. It's quite severe, and you can see someone's actually tried to repair it already, as there's a little bit of, looks like a signs of Evo stick or probably Aerodite in there. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to use a super glue, and I'm going to ooze that down inside it, pulling this apart, oozing it down inside the gap, and then I'm going to clamp it together and leave it overnight first. So that's step 1. This is the super glue I use, which is Loctite. It's really good actually, because it comes with quite a good lid on it, which most super glues you buy, well, what I bought before, just go off. So this doesn't go off, and it's basically you take the lid off and squeeze it together, and it's still good to go. So I've oozed the glue in both sides. I've pulled it apart, oozed the glue in the top part and the bottom part, and I'm going to leave it in this vice overnight, and I'll come back to it in the morning. Okay, so I've super glued that, and that's pretty strong, but what I'm going to do, just for belts and braces, I'm going to put some of this plastic weld on it. So all you do here is just chop a bit off and mix it to a blob, and I'm going to push it into this plastic, and it's really good stuff. It's very, very strong. So what that will do, that'll make it very strong once I've fixed it, and then obviously the next part is sanding it down. This is the stuff. Just give it a good old squidge together. It's really good stuff, and it actually goes quite warm, where the 2 chemicals are obviously mixing together. You can wash your hands with white spirit afterwards, and then as I said, it's welds to the plastic, so it's really good. Okay, so you can see the crack here. So what I'm doing, I'm starting with 250 and then going to 500, then 1500, and probably going to finish it off with a 2000 wet and dry. So you want to get that beautifully flush, ready for painting. I mean, I might have to fill it. I'm going to have a look in a minute, but the back of it has dried really well. goes absolutely solid, that stuff. So that's really, really good. So she's definitely not going to break now once it's repaired. Move on to the next bit. So I'm just finishing off with the 2000 wet and dry, so put a bit of spit on it, and that is looking pretty good. So I went 1500 and now on the 2000. This is wet and dry, so it's designed to be used on obviously plastics, but you do need to, as I said, put a bit of spit on it, and that looks pretty good to me. There we go. That's beautiful and smooth. So the super glue is actually used into the crack. That's looking pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do now is clean it all up and get it ready for painting, the last part. Okay, so I've degreased it all and it's ready for painting now. That's absolutely perfect, that crack. Now you can't see it at all, can't feel it at all on my fingers. Always a good test is to run your fingers across it, because it's amazing what they can pick up, but that feels good to me. So I'm going to spray it with the Figaro Shop Interior Ivory Aerosol. I know this is a fabulously matching paint for the car. I've used it elsewhere in the car and it works really, really well. Now the only downside of this, and I've thought about it, is I'm going to have to spray over these, because I did think about maybe masking them and peeling it off, but I just think it's going to look pretty bad. So I'm going to have to spray over these two parts. So you're not going to have the auto, and you're not going to have the locking switch on there. But you know, this is the problem with repairing things, you're never really going to get it back to how it was when it was manufactured. But I think it's okay. I think the majority of people would be happy when it's finished, and certainly this crack has gone. So there we go. Right, next bit's the painting. So I've started spraying. Now the important thing when spraying is don't be impatient. Don't try and get it all done in 2 minutes. What you want to do is do a really fine coat, leave it for a good 3 or 4 minutes, and do another really fine coat, and just keep layering it up, because it will look great, but most people make a mistake of spraying it and it just ends up not looking great, because you can get bubbles and runs and all sorts. So just take your time, do a layer, and just be patient, leave it a couple of minutes and then do another layer. Okay, so it's fully dry now. I've left it to dry for a good 48 hours, and oh, it looks fantastic. I must say, all credit to the Figaro Shop. This spray is absolutely superb, and look at that. I mean, that's the sort of finish you get from a professional, and I'm certainly not one of those, so I'm really, really happy with that. So what we've got to do now is put the switch assembly back in and put it back in the car. So all installed, all clipped in, really easy to do. Just a connector, I'm basically clipping it in. She won't be going anywhere, and all looks really, really good. Looks brand new to me, so I'm really happy with that. Can't see the crack. And as I said at the beginning, I mean, these parts are becoming less and less available for the Figgy, so unless you're prepared to pay top dollar for them, if you have got a break in it, just have a go at seeing if you can fix it. It really isn't that difficult. You know, just take your time, you know, glue it first and then leave it 24 hours, and definitely put that filler at the back, that plastic filler that I use there, the amalgamating filler you put together and push it onto the switch. It really makes it very, very strong then. And lastly but not least is the Figaro Shop spray that I used. Really, really good. Thoroughly recommend that. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's another one from Kevin. I've made so many of these now, hopefully they're useful to everyone out in the Figgy community. See you all soon on the next one. Cheers, bye.